Hello, everyone. Uh, Today is Chapter 3, Character Classes. I'm going to be real, I read through some of this before I tried to start this video, and I realized that this is going to take far, far longer um, than I initially was planning on. This is a barbarian right there, as you can see. She's a Goliath. Um, and we're going to have to talk about character classes. And each one of these is going to take a massive amount of time. And I knew that on some level. I just didn't realize that. So I think what this is going to be is we're going to do a high level overview of what classes are and what some of their subclasses are. And then I'm going to put out a second video today discussing just the barbarian. So let's get into it. Chapter 3, Character Classes. This beautiful piece of art right here is made by Andrea Piparo. So shows a couple different classes here. That looks like it could be a cleric or maybe a paladin. That is maybe a rogue or maybe some kind of spellblade. Looks like a fighter. So yeah, and then that's obviously a wizard. I mean, it doesn't have a spell book as far as I see. That could be a sorcerer instead. Um, But normally the really long beard goes with wizards. So I'm going to say that's a wizard. Um, and they look like they are partying with the fiends in one of the nine hells. So, yeah, protecting from certain. Okay. So, one of the most famous classes is the barbarian. I feel like a lot of people know about them both from a historical sense, um, but in D&D there is quite a bit of differences in the paths of the barbarian. You have the classic berserker who is all about that raw violence. This is Grog. Wildheart, who has a little more of a druidic run, if I remember correctly. World Tree, um, I actually don't know too much about the World Tree. This, I think, is a newer one. And then Zealot is more of a cleric type. I think you might have some healing with this, but we will have to see through this at a later point. Bards are your charming, inspiring, all around amusing musical friends. And they have colleges. So there's the College of the Dance, the College of Glamour, College of Lore, and College of Valor. Now, personally, I've always been a fan of the lore one. You get to know more magic. You tend to be more focused on getting information. This is my personal favorite, but there's now Feywild magic, which I imagine is more on like illusions, perhaps. Dance probably is your like CC or maybe like influencing people. We'll have to see. Valor to wield weapons with spells. All I can think of is someone playing music and all of a sudden you have a storm of swords literally flying through the air, just beating people to death. Like that would be absolutely hilarious. Um, but yeah, that's a high level of the subclasses of the bard. Cleric. So these are the exact same as the last time, I think. I don't think they actually changed any of these. Clerics are typecasted as your heal bot, and that's the life domain. They are the people that will keep you topped up in a fight, stop you from getting poisoned or having other like negative side effects done to you. Light domain, these people have protection, but they also have some fire damage, if I remember correctly. They're pretty strong. Uh, but they're not as much of like a healer per se. They have some cleanses, if I remember correctly though. They can do some stuff. The trickery domain is actually a little closer to some of the bard behaviors in the way that they could just, make noises, try to distract people. They're more of a chaotic element. These people are not going to be normally as damaging or as healing, but they do bring CC. The war domain is for those people that just want to get down and rumble. I've played this domain pretty extensively. Um, it's a lot of fun. You want to get in there and you want to go and have some extra attacks and make sure people are hitting their hits and people are dying and there are spirit weapons involved, so you're effectively getting an extra attack. Yeah, the war domain is nothing to laugh at. It is definitely more focused on the DPS. Um, these two have some similarities, but this one perhaps has the least amount of healing. Um, we'll have to get into it later on. Druid. These are your shapeshifters, your CCers, your people that are all about nature and the friend to the animals in nature. Land, they draw magic from the environment. Moon, you tend to get more powerful wild shapes. Sea, I believe you get lightning with this one. I actually don't know. Like, C, from my understanding, was closer to the cleric domain of storms, which they don't have out here. But this one probably has quite a few things with the ocean. Stars, I actually don't know. Space, no clue. Fighter, these are the guys that are the bread and butter of everything. So you have your battle master, which is all about, having hits, a lot of hits, and a lot of different ways to hit them. You can trip your enemies, you can disarm your enemies, you can cripple your enemies. They are very powerful. The champion, if I remember correctly, is more about like dueling. You're all about hitting them as hard as you can, like one target. Um, Aldrich Knight is a quick way to become a spell sword, and that way you stay inside of the night area, the fighter area, but you still get access to magic. They are very powerful. And then the Psy Warrior. I don't know what the difference between Psy Warrior and Eldritch Knight is. I'm not familiar with this one. We will have to see. Monk dart in and out of melee while striking fast and hard, then become a warrior of mercy, so you can heal a little bit. Shadow is you become more rogue-like. Elements, you are the Avatar. Um, Not the big blue boys, but Avatar: The Last Airbender. And then open hand, I imagine this is the one about just hitting really fast and multiple times. We will see when we get into that one as well. Paladins, interesting. Vengeance is no longer like just a side oath of it. That's now like a core subclass. Um, Devotion, so something that I want to know. Paladins and clerics are directly related to gods. Druids are all about the nature. They don't really have anything that backs them up. They just believe in the power of nature, and that's really where their power comes from. Paladins, like clerics, though, normally have to swear an oath to their god, which makes their power able to be stripped away if they do not follow those oaths. Um, it's kind of strange to me that clerics can gain their power without an oath to a god, but they still have to like serve a god in some way. They just don't necessarily have to like embody it with such a rigid like dogma is my understanding, but they're both relatively as powerful as the other. Um it's just paladins in my opinion are more upfront. Um Devotion, they're all about justice apparently and bringing down ne'er-do-wells. Glory, not really sure about this. Ancients seems like it might be more healing related, and Vengeance is all about you have something that you want to get like revenge on. You are here to do damage. You're not here to be someone's friend. You're here to destroy something that has wronged you. And you have sworn that oath of vengeance. Moving on, Rangers, they're kind of weird. Um, they're like kind of a fighter, kind of a melee user, kind of a range user, kind of a spellcaster. They are interesting in the previous editions. Um, Beastmaster gives you very much a primary beast that it's all about buffing them. Fey Wanderer, um, you are a little more tricky. This one makes you a little more like a rogue. This one makes you a little bit like a druid. So rangers are interesting. I still don't know what to think of them. I haven't gone huge depth of them, but like at a really like superficial look, it seems like they're kind of, if you want to get a good balancing of a couple different classes, like the ranger is supposed to be that middle ground between two classes. Um, Rogues, these are your sneaky stabby, we are the answer to everything. Arcane Trickster, you get like spells, so like Shadow Step and so on. Assassin, you're all about hitting one target or poisoning or just eliminating someone outright. Soul Knife gives you knives that you can like throw and they'll teleport back to you. Like Vex, I believe, is a soul knife. And then Thief is more of your classic. I'm just here to be really, really sneaky and have 1,001 skills and make sure I can take everything that I've ever thought about. And I don't want to, you know, allow them a chance to do anything. That is a thief. I am going to take everything you own. It's funny. It's funny. Then you have your sorcerer, which again has more of like bloodlines and their magic comes from their ancestry. They have aberrant sorcerer, which they have some psionic magic. Clockwork sorcerer, which gives them cosmic forces. Draconic, so that's, they're more fire, dragon, elemental oriented. And then wild magic, which I believe that's more like in line with like the meta magic or being able to interact with the plane that you're in. I'm not 100% sure on this. I've heard a good bit about the draconic sorcery. I've seen a little bit of the aberrant. That's my experience with the sorcerers. Um, Warlock. These are people that have formed packs. They're kind of similar in the way of the paladin. They're kind of similar to clerics. They have a sugar daddy, and effectively that sugar daddy has ideas of what they're going to do for them, and the price is their soul almost always. Sometimes the souls of others, but one way or another they get power in return. um, they are bound to some cosmic entity, and sometimes they are fey, sometimes they are more holy, and this apparently gives them healing. This is more of like your devils. And this one is Cthulhu. You've made a pact with Cthulhu. So that really is the flavor of Warlock that you get. Great for role playing. They are phenomenal for role playing, and they are very powerful. Wizards, it's interesting. These are just different colleges, I imagine. I Evoker, interesting. So they don't have like Conjurer or Necromancer or anything else like that that they're calling out right out the gate. But so they have Abjurer, which is your shielding allies, banishing foes. Your Diviner, so this is like if you want to go and find things. Evoker, which I imagine is a lot of your destruction spells. Illusionist is your I want to be really tricky kind of thing. So if you wanted to be a really strong like deception rogue, you could go out there and go focus on the thief tree, keep going down this for quite a while, become really really sneaky, and then dip into illusionist to gain the ability to really up your hiding game. All very strong options. But yeah, anyways, that's the overlook of all the classes. I'm going to end this video here now, and we are going to have another video here in a couple hours, probably, of the Barbarian, and we're going to have a deeper dive into their class. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and remember, if you like this stuff, to leave a like, and if you don't like this stuff, dislike it, but please let me know what exactly I could do to make it better. Thank you very much, and have a good one. Bye bye.